Yeah.
Park on Whiteside Boulevard now.
I saw
It's
a boat
perfect
in
for
Deer
that.
West. Is that your the Supra?
Yeah.
I thought that was.
The
Oh, red light, yeah.
E-Drive failed, and so they.
Mark said it had a minute to go yet, so
Okay.
apparently there's a 1 minute difference between our clock and the,
Late
Oh,
YouTube.
really?
We saw what it was.
That's
Like
true.
two plates that are bolted together.
Here we go.
There we go.
E-Drive to the
All right.
shaft going to the prop.
Yeah.
Ready?
They separated into 4 bolts.
All right, excellent. Let's go and get started. All right, calling to order the July 7th, 2026 meeting of the Long Lake City Council at 6:30 PM. All council members are present with the exception of Councilmember Newcomer, who is absent with prior notice. Item 2 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 3 is mayor's comments, Long Lake news, meeting reviews, and updates. First of all, I hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend in Long Lake or wherever you're at. And we did not have any official 4th of July festivities or 250th birthday of the United States or independence events. There's obviously some in the area. So hopefully folks got out to enjoy some of those events. I know there's a lot of, still a lot of activity in town at our parks and Nelson Lakeside Beach and that type of thing. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. Other than that, since our last meeting, I guess, just news to share is City Administrator and I attended a League of Minnesota Cities annual conference in Rochester, and I think we both had good takeaways on training events they have there and networking and learning about what other cities do and what other best practices are for all things city related. And they kind of do a good job of breaking up into larger cities and smaller cities like ours. So I know we participated in some breakout sessions on that, and I've got some other information I'll be sharing along those lines in the coming weeks here with the council and others. And so thank you for taking time to attend that. We haven't had our city administrator there in a few years. So, and I encourage others to attend that, council members to attend that event in the future. Always a great event, and I think next year they're going back to Duluth, up in Duluth. So besides that, no major updates as since last week. I know I saw Jeanette put out an email earlier today about the beach closure at Nelson Lakeside Park. So it's unfortunate, but I saw Orland did the same thing for one of their public beaches. It is that time of the year, unfortunately, with the really warm weather. It tends to cause some E. coli and other issues at our area waters, unfortunately. Okay, with that, we'll move on to item 4, which is to approve this evening's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 5, excuse me, open correspondence. Open correspondence is an item on the agenda in which the public may address the city council. No formal action is taken by the city council, and comments should be limited to 5 minutes or less. Open correspondence may also be emailed to city staff by noon on the date of the meeting. Anyone wish to approach for open correspondence? I think we have at least one taker.
if I may interject real quick before Mr. Miller takes his spot there.
All for loosey-goosiness.
If we can all make sure the mics are a little closer to us this evening, that will help for our remote attendance, and I can already tell we might lose a voice or two, so thanks for nudging them a little bit closer this evening.
Thank you. All right.
Any chance the projector's gonna come back? I
It
feel like I'm gonna be here a lot, and I sure like that projector.
it can come up on occasion, but it's
special
kind of hard to do
request?
this
Okay.
particular
Okay.
format.
All right. I don't need it tonight. Honorable Mayor, members of the council, city staff, Brian Miller, 295 Lakeview Avenue. I once again wrote a 60-page dissertation that I'm decided this afternoon I'm not gonna read. I'm gonna ad-lib some things about history, and then I have handouts for all of you. Reading material that I hope you take seriously and give a good read to. I just want to go back in history and talk about the city of Long Lake, starting with Liz Olson's house and maybe 4 buildings that are sort of historic down there. Those buildings are still here today. The Pioneer Museum is still here, 1907. It used to be a school. People like Reggie Rettinger, my neighbor, went to school there. People like Steve Kelly of Kelly & Kelly went to school there. Then I want to move up the street because that's it for history down there by the lake. For history up in our neighborhoods, it's Lakeview Avenue. And it's a couple of houses on Brown Road, and it's a couple of houses on Watertown Road. Let's start with the north end of Lakeview Avenue and head south where we have 351 Lakeview Avenue. That's the original house there. That's the Brandons in that house. Sorry, I do need my glasses. All the lots along Lakeview Avenue had 2 lots. That's since changed for the most part. So Gretchen Cashmore's at 303 Lakeview Avenue. That's the original home there. She also has a long-standing history of generations of family here in this city. Next is me, Brian Miller, at 295 Lakeview Avenue. Things about my house that are original are the garage used to be a chicken coop. There's still chicken baskets in there, egg baskets. There's a cistern buried in the backyard, and there's a pipe going in through the wall where they used to capture water to get water in the house off the roof. Next down is the Schwaniers at 249 Lakeview. Their garage used to be a carriage house for horse-drawn carriages. And they have, like me, have found numerous artifacts in their homes that are quite fascinating from the 1930s, 1940s, stuff like that. Next down is Lisa Cochran at 235 Lakeview Avenue. She, Dave the Schwaniers have both their lots still. Next down is the Schwaniers, or the Cochrans, and I've shown you this photo before, but this is their home, and we believe that Hennepin County property records are incorrect because from the Pioneer Museum, we have Lisa's house and Dave's house here from 1914. So, and then there's some fun pictures on the back. People are welcome to look at that. So that's it for Long Lake. That's all that's left. Everything else has been mowed over and paved over and stuff. And I like to take serious history. I'm not a native Long Laker, but I believe in preserving history. And when it comes to the roads, I just want to touch on, I want to get to the Rettingers. If you go down farther, now Reggie's at, 199 Upper Lee. Reggie has lived in that 1952 house since 1954, before Upper Lee existed. And that's because his driveway was Upper Lee and it went on to Watertown Road. Now it's become, and as you know, the Rettingers started here in Long Lake in 1905, started the fire department in 1915, had the oil, the Ford Motor Company, all that stuff. And what we know from talking with Reggie is Upper Lee went in 1973. We know that Lakeview Avenue was here before that. Lakeview Avenue was the first road. Don't give me the gavel. So anyways, the point is those roads, that pavement is 60 years old. So when the engineers come along and say that you got to have curb and gutter or it's going to rot the edges are going to rot away and stuff, that's not what's happened. That has not happened at all in 60 years. And you can read more about that in my handout. What I also want to say about that is, let's see, Reggie. Don't give me the gavel yet. But a couple of points. On the 4th of July, we had a torrential rain here. Power went out. I took a drive in my car and I went around. The water was flowing down Central Avenue perfectly, down into the ditches when it got to Lakeview Avenue. And the water on Lakeview Avenue was flowing in the ditches about half full perfectly. And It flowed all the way to each end of Lakeview, and it went into the city's existing storm drains and disappeared beautifully. There was no problem whatsoever. It went down Upper Lee, the water was flowing down both sides, banking the turn, ending up down in the city storm drains perfectly. Nobody's getting harmed, there's no drainage problems, it works beautifully. The road just needs to be replaced. It does not need curb and gutter. And you can read more about that in my handout. And one other thing is, well, no, I'll leave it for my handout. So, that's some history, and you'll find a bit of argument why we don't need curb and gutter. But I think that honoring the history, a big point I have too is, people say it's about the money, that they're concerned about curb and gutter. It's the aesthetics, and that's what I mean about history. Let's preserve the history. The ditches work fine. The whole thing is very charming. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's no need for the city to spend more money than it needs to. And you can read about that in this handout. So,
All right,
I
thank
went
you,
over
Brian.
that. Thank you for your time. And I also have a Chat GPT that my neighbor ran, handout, that asks the question, why do we need curb and gutter? So you might find that interesting.
Yeah, give that to staff and they'll disseminate it as appropriate. Thank you, Brian.
Back of each, I'm sorry.
All right, anyone else for open correspondence? No pressure, but okay. Come on up, yeah, spur of the moment, that's okay. You just state your name and address, please.
Hello, my name is Rachel Lewandowski, and my daughters and I live at 200 Lakeview Avenue. I would like to know, yes, why does the power go out every time?
Ironically,
We have been working on that,
we
ironically,
have been working
yes.
on that. The mayor doesn't actually know this, but I obtained permission slips from, essentially permission emails from a bunch of properties because we are asking Xcel Energy, and they won't give us detailed data without property owner permission. They'll only tell us like number of outages. What we're trying to establish is trends and what are your projects to fix those. So we did ask the question of Xcel Energy. They said, we can't give you history without written permission from property owners. And Wayzata Bay Realty was our friend because they own a lot of properties scattered throughout town
Good.
and really all over Lakeview, Grand, Orchard, good segment that are all experiencing the issue. I got permission from them for all of their properties and submitted that to Xcel Energy today and said, please go ahead and start doing your 3-year research and let us know what you see there for outage history and trends, and also if you have any pending projects to address those, because yes, we're aware. It seems to be happening more often.
I'll also add on there, we've noticed a major increase in overtime for our staff because every time the power goes out, we have alarms
Yes.
and we need to address those. And a lot of
Yes.
times we're having staff drive in on the weekends in the middle of the night to have to address the outages.
To
So
address-
for the
Yes.
city, it's just as crucial as it is to our residents. I don't want you to think just because it doesn't happen during normal business hours that we're not affected. We're actually affected.
We don't like
So
lift
we're-
station
We're
alarms.
upset.
That's great to hear.
Yes,
Glad to
yes.
hear that.
Good timing.
I have been told that there have been some notices that have been sent out to areas about tree trimming activities, and it sounds like you might have gotten one, yep, and it sounds like they've been pretty busy just outside our borders with a large Asplund crew, so we may be seeing that coming into town. If we weren't before, this email might enhance that, but we'll see what we find out.
Excellent.
But we have put the question to them.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And for the record, I would just like to say I support Brian and his no curb and gutter, though we definitely need a new road. Because
In progress.
there's no way they can skateboard down that. And for me personally, and so when it whoosh, it comes right into my garage.
Oh, yes.
So a little bit of repaving would go a long way for sure. And then when you guys do that, I can get my driveway redone and we can all be happy. So, all right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for speaking on this for the moment.
All you have to do is sign up on our homepage of our website. Mm-hmm.
All right, any submitted open correspondence?
Nothing,
Emailed?
thank you.
Okay. We'll move on then to item 6, consent agenda, items A through G on the consent agenda this evening, including a couple of noteworthy items, which is approving a special event permit for the Corn Days Parade on August 8th. So mark your calendars for that. And then a special event permit for Buckhorn Days, their one-day festival on July 25th, which is coming up, obviously. So mark your calendars for that as well. And then appointing election judges for the 2026 state primary and general elections. That seems like it's so far away, but I guess it's not really. It'll be before we know it. Any questions for, and then also, there's a resignation of Public Works Maintenance Worker 1, in addition to our usual items. Any questions for staff regarding items in the consent agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, item 7, regular business. We'll begin, and only item tonight is 7A, reject bids for the 2026 sanitary lining project contract. All right, Amanda.
Yes, thank you. Tonight we have our engineer, Rachel Shu. I'm probably saying her last name incorrectly. I apologize. She is going to talk to council today about the bids that we had for the 2026 sanitary sewer lining project, and what our recommendation is based on the bids that we received. Rachel, are you available?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. Just providing an update on the sanitary sewer lining project. We had gone out for bids end of June. Unfortunately, we only received one bid, and it was significantly higher than our engineer's estimate. In response to that, we had followed up with some of the plan holders as to why they didn't bid, and just get some information based off of these results. And the consensus was that other contractors were interested in bidding, but due to staff availability and just timing with other projects going on that had a similar timeline, that they were unable to submit bids. So we are recommending to reject the bids as is and propose rebidding at a later date to anticipate receiving more bids and potentially better pricing.
What is the proposal for the later date? When do you think?
So does anyone have any questions at this time?
Rachel, could you elaborate of what the timeline would be for the later date? And also too, we have the bid totaling 1.3 million. What was WSB's original anticipation of the cost?
So I think you're breaking up a little bit there, but I guess if I'll repeat the question, you were asking about plan for later date at rebidding and then what our engineer's estimate was?
That's correct.
Okay. So we'll connect with Amanda and Sean on a later date, but we'd still like to get it out this fall. So we'll touch base with city staff on that. So more to come there. And then the engineer's estimate was around 800,000.
Okay.
So do you still think that 800,000 is a realistic estimate based on what came in from the proposed bid?
Believe so. We'll take another look at it, but I think just due to the timing of the bidding being later in the construction season, contractors already being busy with projects and our timeline of wanting the lining to be completed end of October, that caused their estimate to come in high.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yep.
Other questions for Rachel or comments? Okay, yeah, it's unfortunate that it's so far over, and that was obviously way over what we had anticipated as we went down this path. So hopefully we can get a much lower bid here to get a better bang for our buck with that lining project that we so desperately need. All right, well, if there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion on this one.
We'll make a motion to reject the bids and do not award the contract for the 2026 sanitary lining project.
All right, I'll second that. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Rachel. Feel
Can
free to
I ask
pop up.
Rachel
Oh,
one
sorry.
more question? Rachel, if you can hear me, was there a certain task in their proposal that was way off, or was it just all of them were higher than anticipated? Or was there, any one or two or three areas that they were significantly higher than your estimate?
Did you catch that, Rachel?
I did not. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, so in their estimate, was there any specific line item that was, where the increase was due to, or was it across all of the line items that they were all just higher than you expected?
Yeah, it seemed there wasn't any specific bid item. It seemed like overall the costs were high.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. With that, we'll move on to other business. Item 8. Councilmember Feldman.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Dybek. Okay. Don't have anything else to add other than what we already did with the conference. So, yeah, Councilmember Qualley.
Nothing for me.
Okay. City Administrator.
Yes, I just wanted to quickly thank our Public Works Department. They worked throughout the weekend. Over this holiday weekend, we ran into a situation with both of our well house pumps that was identified to us, I believe, on Wednesday. And to ensure safe drinking water, our Public Works Director came in every day throughout the weekend to make sure to do testing and to make sure that pumps were being either running as expected or that he could manually operate. And so I do appreciate him willing to come in over his holiday weekend and spend it here in Long Lake to make sure our residents.
Are there repairs that are going to be needed or replacement?
Yes, there are. If you recall, on our 2020, on our CIP that was approved for the 2026 budget, I had well 1 replacement in 2027. I'm anticipating that will be bumped up to 2026. And then the well 2 was just recently replaced, so we need to look at that and see what the problem was with well 2. But we will be working on addressing both.
Is there a warranty on that well too?
I believe I've asked the Public Works Director to look into that. I do believe he has a part coming this week, and then as I mentioned, we are going to be pushing up the well 1 pump replacement. For
Was there
March
something
2027.
that caused the two, or did one fail and the other one have to work harder? Or
He didn't identify that. We were actually wondering why both were happening at the same time. There was air ending up in the lines. He can give more details, but nevertheless, that will be a repair that will be on our radar in the next couple months. But as of right now, everything's working wonderfully, and it's because he was so due diligent this weekend and was willing to come in every day.
And he was was he already the on-call person this weekend, or did he kind of
I
go
think
above and beyond for
he
that?
went above and beyond. Sean doesn't do on-call very much anymore. It's a staff, but unfortunately, there are no staff qualified for this level right now. So
So do we not have enough reserve in our water tower that can like handle a pump shutdown for a while? Or
I don't understand the process exactly. However, with it going into us being closed on Friday, with having a 3-day holiday weekend, I think he was just a little bit more concerned, and the amount of water that is used for lawns and such at this time of year causes us to deplete quite quickly. So, but he would have the details on the technology and what happened. But I just wanted to show my appreciation to Public Works.
Yeah, great.
And that is all I have.
All right, thank you. Jeanette?
Nothing much, just starting to prep for all things elections. We're also working to make a transition from MediaCom to Midco for internet service both here and at the Public Works Building, which should provide some increased speed and stability, we hope. So had site surveys out today. That work will be ongoing over the next couple weeks because they seem to be in high demand right now, but looking forward to getting that done.
Should be good step forward, faster speeds. And
Will there be a cost benefit too?
Yes. Yes. We will actually be resulting in increased speed to both buildings for less than we were paying with our original contract with MediaCom. And Wi-Fi boosters for different areas of the buildings, so.
Nice. Excellent.
Public Works will actually be able to have Wi-Fi out on the shop floor, so if they're doing something on a laptop and need to carry out or something into the shop floor for some reason, they would be able to do that. You know, if they want to look something up by GIS while they're out there, they could do that,
Good.
so.
I bet that our building already has the fastest internet in the city since the community. Good combination.
Actually having a little trouble getting MediaCom in to finish some work on their side. So they're a little interested in how our experience and our review goes. Tyler and I chatted about that earlier today, because they, like us, had signed a contract with MediaCom. Well, now we're month to month, so we can drop when we choose.
Okay.
Tyler will probably be locked in a little while longer, but when his contract comes up, they may also be.
Have you heard any updates, by the way? It seems like Midco's construction was going pretty good, but part of the city that we live in is probably going to be the last one to get it. I don't know if you guys
We just
connected
got
yet?
ours hooked up.
You did? Okay.
So, yeah,
So
we're at the tail end.
all right. But you haven't heard, didn't hear anything by chance? Okay.
He just said that they are extremely busy as they're continuing to move construction all throughout the Lake Minnetonka area, because Deep Haven was a big area for them, I think, this year. And Tonka Bay, actually, I think. So they're continuing to further their expansion, but they did have an eastern portion of the city that they needed to wrap this year. Not quite sure if they're complete with that or not yet.
Okay. Apparently part of the eastern part, at least, yeah. All right, thank you. Anything else, Jeanette?
Nothing, thank you.
All right. Last call for any of the council members.
Amanda, on that example that you gave of Sean coming in, made me think of at my work, and I know Sean's a salaried employee, but at my work, we have, this thing called, can't even remember what it's called, but where you can nominate people who have kind of gone above and beyond and they have different levels of awards, and there can be like nothing. It's just sort of a recognition, like, hey, and I think at my company they call it a rave award or whatever. And then there's other ones, that go to small monetary amounts or to larger monetary amounts. I mean, in this, and maybe it's part of his job description that you're going to be coming in some weekends, and when you have to. But I was just wondering what the appetite would be for maybe having some sort of special recognition.
It's funny you actually mentioned that, because we had an HR committee meeting about a month or so ago, and it was brought up at that meeting to start trying to look at either something to reward for performance, or, and I think that would maybe.
Yeah, and
go
it's like
along.
when, especially when going above and beyond.
Correct,
You know,
right.
and it might just be, you know, $100 or $250, or, you know, might, or it may, and maybe it's based on, you know, what level of above and beyond it was. I mean, that's, I'm just thinking about how we did it at my work, but, you might,
No,
might
I'm
wanna
always,
consider
we're
something like
definitely
that.
starting to look at different ways to start recognizing our staff and making sure that we notice when they do go above
Yeah.
and beyond. So I think you're 100% right. Yes, it's something.
I just didn't
I'll
know
keep
if,
in mind.
if being a government, you know, organization, if it has, if we're
Limitations.
limited on
I
what
can
we can
check on
do in terms of that kind of thing, but.
I can check on those details.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I show our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, July 21st. And
That one we can plan will be longer. There will be a work session, there will be more content on the agenda. We can plan for that to be a longer meeting.
got it. All right.
Oh, one go back. Mike and I have a fire board meeting tomorrow morning,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going through the process of fire chief interviewing and, you know, the process of hiring a fire chief, of, you know, starting in January of '27. And not that it's not that we're getting rid of our fire chief. In fact, he is open to applying for the position. But during the negotiations that we had, you know, that was the plan that was laid out, that we would keep the Long Lake fire chief in his position until the end of '26, and then we would sort of post for, you know, the next full-time fire chief, which could also be him, but we'll be discussing that process that's being put together. That's mainly what we're going to talk about tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, some
What about
budget.
the assistant chief? Is it,
The deputy,
deputy?
yeah, I mean, he's been hired and
Yeah, he's hired, and he's in his position. I mean, he could put his name in the hat too if he wanted to, but so it's just, they just wanted to have, you know, we want to have an open process for getting that next fire chief. So
yeah, and I think some people have asked questions to me too. It's like, oh, that's pretty quick turnover. And it's like, no, this has been the plan from the beginning, and the
Yeah.
chief knew this, the board knew this. This was part of the JPA. So,
yeah.
but I think there's been some miscommunications out there, but it's part of the process. So,
Is there a rough ETA on when the new chief would be named, or?
I think the interview process is like mid-August, right? And then there's, I think, what is it, September, October?
The new chief would be hired, according to the JPA, by November 1st. They would be employed. So the process in which we take to do that.
But not taking
No, they would work closely if it happened to not be our current chief.
Yeah.
Which was hired as an interim, just to clarify. He was
current
hired
chief is employed until
through
the end of
the year.
December.
Right.
And then the
that's
new,
what I thought.
yes, and then if there is a new chief hired, they would begin employment on November 1st, to overlap and make it a seamless transition. But I'd also like to mention one other thing, in addition to the board, that I think council needs to be aware of. On the 21st council meeting here, we will need to approve, in accordance to the JPA, the budget. The 2027 fire budget has to be approved by the end of July. So that we will be working really hard at the board meeting to review the budget and to get something to present to our councils. And then our council would need to have it approved by the end of July. So when you get the packet from Jeanette, if you have any questions or concerns, I encourage you to contact me ahead of time so that we don't have to have a special meeting to get the budget approved. And so that will be presented to council on July 21st if everything tomorrow goes well.
Great.
So
Well, good luck.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Any other go backs? All right. So next meeting, July 21st. Sounds like a busy one. All right. If there's no objection, I'll adjourn the meeting by general consent. Hearing none, meeting's adjourned at 7:06 PM.
Wow,
So in 2 weeks,
that seems kind of quick.
That-
July, like,
Yep.
the budget,
Pete's?
Yeah.
just looking at once and,
I bet you we
because
have.
Orno